Ohayou gozaimasu. Krista-san desu. Or Krista desu. Um, so I just finished doing lesson 7 in the Marugoto textbook. So now I'm going to move on to lesson 8. So we're going to mostly be looking at the Rikai textbook once again and looking at Canvas, the grammar notes, and the examples that Imhof Sensei put on there. So let's get started. Okay, so first we're going to be looking at the vocab and the kanji. And if I see any vocab throughout the chapter that I see really quickly, I will give an explanation of what it means and continue. So on page 78, so 78 page in the Rikai textbook, it's going to be right next to the little bus right here in the little corner. That's going to be the main vocab for the verbs for this lesson. So the first one is aimasu, which means to meet. So if you saw lesson 7, you know aimasu is another way to say to meet someone. And then B, it says kaimasu, which means to buy. Norimasu means to get on or to embark. Wakarimasu means to understand. Tabemasu means to eat. And mimasu means to see. And then looking at the little text right over here, I'll go through it really quickly. Machi ni, so town, ni, ite, so to go. Mise, shop, de, omiyage o, so omiyage is it's a gift, which is mostly like a Japanese thing where you get omiyage when you go on a trip, and you get omiyage for like everyone that you know. So omiyage o kaimasu. So you're buying gifts at a shop in a town that you went to. Okay, and then number 2, it says hatai. So or sorry, not ha. It's yatai. Yatai is a stall. Yatai de ramen o blank. So ramen is ramen. Ramen o, it's probably i tabemasu because you're talking about food. And then 3 is bijutsukan. So bijutsukan is an art museum. Bijutsukan de kirei na, so pretty. E, which means picture or drawings. O, mimasu, because you're looking at pretty drawings. Okay. Yes. And then number 4, it says kanko basu. So kanko basu is a sightseeing bus, or like a tourist tour, like a tour bus. So kanko basu ni, and you're probably going to embark on a sightseeing bus, so it's going to be norimasu. Okay, and then hakubutsukan, which is just a regular museum. De machi no, so town. Machi is town. So the town's rekishi, which means history. So the town's history ga wakarimasu. So you understand the town's history. Okay, and at the bottom, right underneath these pictures, there's some more words that we're going to go over real quick. Shigoto, A, so shigoto means job. B, kaimono means shopping. So if you remember, kaimasu means to buy something. Kaimono, mono means thing, so you're buying a thing, so shopping. C is karaoke, so karaoke. D is sanbo, which means to take a walk or a stroll. And then E is shokuji. Yes, shokuji is a meal. And then let's look at page 79 at the top, right here with the pictures. We're going to be looking at these words. So number 1, it says dobutsu-en. Dobutsu-en is a zoo. So dobutsu is the word for animal. So dobutsu-en, it's like as you know, bijutsukan and hakubutsukan, they have to do with museums and like going to places to where you can see specific things. So like an aquarium is sui zoku kan. So remember for the word for Wednesday is suyobi. So aquarium sui zoku kan. And then once again, number 3, hakubutsu kan, museum, and bijutsu kan is an art museum. And then the pictures, what it says underneath the pictures, it says yumei na e. So yumei is the word for famous. It's a not adjective. So you're going to say yumei na e. The word for picture is e. And then the second picture, it's underneath it, it says mezurashi mono. So that means something is unusual, is what I found the translation as. I could be wrong though, but mezurashi is, from what I remember, it sounds like the word for unusual, so I think that's right. And C says kawaii doubutsu, so a cute animal. And then D says omoshiroi sakane, or sakana, sorry. So it's an interesting fish. It looks like it's a picture of a whale shark, so it definitely is an interesting fish. Okay, and at the bottom of 79, it's got the kanji right here. Okay, shokuji, once again, that's meal. Shigoto, that's the word for work or job. Mae is front, so like the front of something or before something. Ato is back, behind, later, or after. Just depends on the context that you use it. Asa means morning. Hiru means lunch or midday. Yeah. So asa means morning. Hiru means midday. And yoru means night. And you see these when you're talking about when you eat during the day. So like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So asa gohan is breakfast. Hiru gohan is lunch. And tricky here, it's not yoru gohan, it's ban gohan because if you notice that the word for good evening, konbanwa, ban, is another word for night. So ban gohan is the word for dinner. And then the last kanji is norimasu, which means to get on, to embark, or to ride something. So you would use that when you're like getting on a bus, a train, etc. Okay, and then flipping over to page 80, so 80 page. In the side note, in the text that you read at the top with the 3 people right there, and they're talking about a picture at a museum. The first line says, Kimu-san, mo bijutsukan ni ikimashita ka? So Kim-san, mo is already, bijutsukan is art museum, ni ikimashita. So did you already go to the art museum, Kim-san? So I just wanted to bring attention to mo can mean already. And then right below that, it's the first concept for lesson 8, right here. Okay, and it says mo, V for verb, mo, verb, mashita, which, so the sentence pattern is used to show that an action has already been completed. And then in response to that, someone might say, mada desu. So this sentence pattern is used to show that an action has not been completed yet. So going back to this example above with the 3 people talking about the picture, we'll go through that really quickly just to give you a little example. So Kimu-san, mo bijutsukan ni ikimashita ka? So Kim-san, have you already gone to the art museum? Hai, ikimashita. So she's saying, yes, I did go. So the first concept, the mo, verb, mashita. So in this context, someone saying mo, noun, ni, verb, mashita, ka. So they're putting a noun in between the mo and the mashita that's in the concept, which you can do. Or if you wanted to, you could just say mo, verb, mashita. So you already did a verb. So mo tabemashita. So I already ate. Going back to the example, the third line says どうでしたか? So how was it? And then Kima-san says 山の映画. So the picture of the mountain とても良かったです. So 良かった is like very nice. And then the person responds へえそうですか? It's like, oh, is that so? And then they say ホセさん So ホセさんはもう行きましたか? So ホセさん did you also go? And ホセさん says いえまだです So I have not yet. 私も行ってみたいです So 行ってみたいです means that you want to go. So he hasn't gone yet, まだです So he has not gone to the museum, but he does want to go. So that's how you would use that concept. Okay, and then at the very bottom of 81, so 81 page, right here, the third, yeah, it's in the third line, but it's so it's the third line said, but the fourth line down. It says, ライトアップが綺麗ですよ. So light up is just like putting lights on the hanami. So the hanami is the flower festival. So you're putting lights on the sakura in the flower festival. It's basically what that is. It's kind of confusing when I first read it, so figured probably go over that real quick. And then the next page, 82, so 82 page. At the top is the next concept. It says noun no mae ni and noun no ato de. So noun no mae ni means before the noun, and noun no ato de means after the noun. Okay. Trying to see if there's a good single example. So the first example where it says it's the one in the circle that's on the same page right here. It says asagohan no, so breakfast, mae ni, so before breakfast, sappo o shimasu. So remember, sampo is to take a walk. So you're walking, you take a stroll. So before breakfast, you take a stroll. And then the second one, it says asagohan no. And in this case, I'm looking at the second half of the sentence. So we're going to leave the blank there for a moment. So asagohan no blank shigoto o shimasu. So shigoto is job or work. So what would you do in a situation where you have breakfast and you also have work? Well, you would go to work after you have breakfast typically. So asagohan no ato de shigoto o shimasu. So remember, ni is has to do with places, but de has to do with by what means do you do something. So by what means do you do something after is why you would use de after ato, and di has to do with just getting to do something. So you're going to the action. So that's why it's mae ni, because you're focusing on the action and not by the means of how you were doing that action. Okay, and then the next concept, I believe the third one, is right there on the same page. So it says noun or verb ni, ikimasu or kimasu. So this has to do with purpose. So you're indicating purpose. So the examples are kaimono, so shopping, kaimono ni plus ikimasu. So you're saying that you are going shopping. So kaimono ni ikimasu. Okay, so the purpose, so you're going because you're going to go shop. Okay, and then so that was for a noun. So this next one is for a verb. So mimas, so to see. You're gonna get rid of the mas and you're just gonna have mi. So you're gonna say mi ni plus ikimasu. So mi ni ikimasu. So the purpose of you going is to see something. So if you're going to go see a picture, you would use mi ni ikimasu. to say, oh, e, which is the word for picture, e ga mi ni ikimasu. Okay, and looking at an example below, let's look at the circles down here. Let's look at number 2. So, chichi to haha, so your father and your mother, ga uchi ni, so their house, shukuji, so meal, blank, turn that shukuji into the indicating of purpose, kimasu. So shukuji, because it's a noun, you're going to just add ni to it. So shukuji ni kimasu. So the whole sentence would be chichi to haha ga uchi ni shukuji ni kimasu. Okay, and then let's go to number 3. So it says atarashi. So atarashi means new. O sushi ya san. So yasan is typically when it's like a specific restaurant for a type of food. So it's in a sushi restaurant essentially. So atarashi o sushi yasan. So a new sushi restaurant. Ni sushi o. So sushi like the fish. Sushi o tabemasu. We're going to turn that into the verb ni form that we were just talking about. So you're going to get rid of mas and add ni. So tabe ni ikimasu. Okay. And I'm looking at some vocab on the next page. So 83 in the Rikai textbook. So 83 page. At the very top, I don't know if you can see that. It's right up here. I'll just read through these dialogues. A few of these dialogues for the new vocab words that are not seen. So konban means this evening. So kon is typically used for the current situation or state of something, and ban means evening or night. Isogashi desu ka? Isogashi means busy, and then you're asking if someone's busy this evening. The person says ie, hima desu. So hima means free, so you have free time. And then the person says ja minna de, so everyone. Tawa, so tower ni. Yakei, which means night view, or mi ni ikimasen ka? And masenka, which I don't think we've gotten to yet. Masenka is like kind of asking for a request for something. And then they say machi, so town, ga, yoku, often, miemasu yo. So do you often do you see it from the city, so the night view? And the person says, ii desu ne. And then you have different options that you can pick. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I'm starting to lose my voice. I think there's a few more words that are not explained. So the first C in this section, it says osake desu ka? So that's sake, so alcohol. Watashi wa oishii mono o, and this is probably tabe ni ikitai desu, because it's talking about something that's delicious. Or sorry, nomi ni ikimasen ka? Because they're talking about sake, which is a drink. So oishii mono is like a delicious thing. And then the next example, oishi, or A and where it's words. The second A and C section, which says oishi mono mo mochiron arimasu yo. So the delicious thing is also there. So mochiron is of course. Arimasu is like to have something or something is there. And then C it says いいですね。じゃあ、お願いします。お願いします。So please do something. Okay, and then I believe it's most of the vocab from this one. On the next page, 84, it has the word tabun in the first reading section with the kimusan. Tabun means probably. So it's the very last line. It says demo dobutsu or dobutsu ga nigate desu kara tabun ikimasen. So tabun is probably. So I will look at the Katsudo textbook and see if there's anything that we need to go over in that.